Hi, welcome to High Flyer English with me, Steve Ellis. Now, today we're going to look at English expressions, and we're not just going to dip our toe in the water, we're going to plunge right in. We're going to take a deep dive into advanced English expressions, and these aren't your basic phrases. These are phrasal verbs, they're collocations, fixed and semi-fixed expressions, and idioms. These are the expressions that native speakers use all the time in real conversations. And in this video, I'll explain each expression and also give you examples of how they are used. So let's not beat about the bush. There's another expression, which means to delay, to talk around a subject. Let's get started. Let's go. Let's start off with starting off, getting things done. Suppose you're getting ready to start a project. Everyone's been discussing it for weeks, and now it's finally time to get the ball rolling. This expression means to start something, to begin something, especially after all the discussions have taken place. And how about if you're in a situation where you need to get straight to the important details? In that case, you probably want to cut to the chase. Means to skip over unnecessary details and get to the main point. If you like, it's the opposite of beat about or beat around the bush, which I mentioned earlier. Now, if everyone's in agreement and ready to act, then it's time to hit the ground running. This means you start working immediately, making quick progress. You're ready and eager to get on with it, and so you do. You're straight into the job or the task. Yeah, but supposing you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, like you bit off more than you can chew. To bite off more than you can chew means to have taken more than you can handle. At that point, you might need to take a step back and reevaluate your approach. Think again about it. Let's just pause and break these explanations down. To get the ball rolling means to get on with something, especially after it's been planned or discussed, without further delay. Cut to the chase, skip unnecessary details, and focus on the important points. Hit the ground running, to start something with immediate progress and energy. If you've bitten off more than you can chew, you've taken on more responsibility than you can manage. Think about it. You're eating something and you take a big bite and you're finding it hard to chew it. So that's the literal meaning. The figurative meaning, the idiomatic meaning, is to take on more responsibility than you can manage, to bite off more than you can chew. And to take a step back is to reassess a situation from a different perspective. Look at it again, think about it in a different way. Now let's look at facing challenges. Imagine you're facing a tough situation where the pressure is really on. At this point, maybe it's time to roll with the punches. To roll with the punches means to adapt to the situation and to the difficulties, to keep moving forward despite the challenges. But what if you find yourself out of your depth? It means that the situation is too difficult and too unfamiliar, and you might need help. Now think about this out of your depth, where you plunged into a situation. This is what we talked about at the beginning, didn't we? Let's plunge in. But you find yourself out of your depth. You are not very good at swimming, and You're in too deep. Okay, you're in too deep. Now we're taking it figuratively. You're finding it difficult to handle the situation. And in that case, you might need someone to lean on. So you lean on someone for help and guidance. When you're in a situation where you feel you're juggling too many things at once, you might need to take things one step at a time. Multitasking is all very well, but don't rush through everything. Instead, tackle each part. Tackle means deal with. Tackle each part individually. How about if you've made a mistake but don't want to dwell on it, but to continue thinking about it? Well, you need to get back on track quickly because there's no point in crying over spilt milk. In other words, no use in being upset about something that you can't change. Let's go over quickly what these last few expressions mean. Roll with the punches, to adapt to difficult situations and to keep going. If you're out of your depth, you're in a situation where it's too difficult for you to handle. You probably need help. When you lean on someone, you rely on someone for help or support. You know, you'd like someone to give you a hand. You probably know that expression. To take things one step at a time is to move forward carefully, slowly, tackling one thing at a time, not rushing on. And don't cry over spilt milk. Don't waste time worrying about something that can't be undone. It's happened. It's over. Let's have a look at making decisions and moving forward. Imagine that you've been putting off making an important decision. Well, I mentioned this one right at the beginning. At some point, you have to take the plunge to make a bold decision, even if you're uncertain about the outcome. Got to be brave about it. Let's say that things aren't going according to plan. Well, rather than panicking, this is where you need to keep your cool, keep your nerve, to keep calm. Because in that way, then you'll be able to focus on solving the problem effectively. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt you wanted to take a back seat? Maybe you didn't want to take charge of something, but you'd prefer to let someone else step up to the plate. That's a great example of choosing to step back while letting others take on the responsibility. But when the time comes to act, you take the bull by the horns and take control of the situation with determination and confidence. Let's have a look at the last ones again, more slowly. To take the plunge, to make a bold decision and take action despite uncertainty. Keep your cool. Stay calm. Don't get stressed or overwhelmed. Stay calm. Stay cool. Take a back seat to let someone else take the lead or assume control. You might be in a meeting and lots of other people want to speak. So you take a back seat. You let them get on with it rather than trying to control it yourself. Of course, we also talk about backseat drivers. There's nothing more infuriating than when you've got a passenger, not necessarily in the back seat, but they're telling you how to drive or where to go. That's a backseat driver. Step up to the plate to take responsibility or act when needed. Take the bull by the horns to take control of a situation boldly and confidently. It can also mean doing something which perhaps you've been reluctant to do, a little bit wary about doing, but you need to get on with it. Um, you feel you deserve a pay rise. So you summon up the courage to take the bull by the horns and ask your boss for one instead of just waiting, because otherwise it's probably not going to happen. So take the bull by the horns and say to your boss, I'm worth more than you're paying me. Let's have a look at working together and team dynamics. Now imagine you're working in a team and things are going well. You're all in the same boat. You're facing the same challenges and getting on with them together. But often to be in the same boat means something negative. It means that you are facing the same problems. You could say, someone says to you, oh, I'm short of money. You know, you could say, yeah, I know the feeling. I'm in the same boat. But back to working together, you're in the same boat, you're facing the same challenges, and it's important that you pull your weight. Everyone has to contribute equally. But what if someone isn't doing their fair share? Well, you may say they need to step up and carry their weight, or else things will fall behind. Sometimes when things get tricky, it can be in a situation, it can be dealing with someone. It's all about reading between the lines. It means understanding the hidden meaning of unspoken rules of the situation. It can mean that you don't understand the motivation. You don't fully understand what's going on, what's happening, but reading between the lines from what other people have said, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. You're uncertain, but you think, reading between the lines, that this could be the situation, this could be the problem. Back to teams, well, when you're collaborating with others, don't be afraid to bounce ideas off each other. To bounce, like bouncing a ball. So you bounce ideas off each other. You can imagine nodding a ball to someone and they nod it back to you, bounce it back to you on your head. Because after all, two heads are better than one. Getting different perspectives helps the team move forward. You don't have to just use it in a work situation. You can use it in casual conversations with friends and with family. You know, let's discuss this. I'd like your opinion. Two heads are better than one. A quick review of those last expressions: in the same boat, to be in the same situation, especially a difficult one. To pull your weight, to contribute your fair share of work or responsibility. Step up, to take responsibility or contribute more. And read between the lines, to understand the hidden meanings behind words or actions. Now let's talk about communications and opinions. Supposing you're in a discussion and you want to share your thoughts, you might call it as you see it, meaning you speak your mind honestly and directly. You're being straight about your opinions, even if it's a bit uncomfortable. But suppose you're running the meeting, or one of the people running the meeting, and the conversation gets heated and you want to keep it productive. Well, then you need to keep things on track and avoid getting sidetracked by irrelevant details. Going back to when we talked about call it as it is, or you can say it as it is, you don't sugarcoat things. In other words, you're being direct and you say what you mean. So, no, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Here's how I see it. But let's be careful. At the same time, you don't want to say it in a way that rocks the boat. You don't want to rock the boat. Let's just review those. Call it as you see it, to speak directly and honestly without hesitation. Keep things on track, to stay focused and continue making progress. I'll add another one quickly here. You don't go off at a tangent. You keep things on track. You don't start talking about irrelevant things that not to do with what you're supposed to be talking about. That's when we say you're going off at a tangent, okay? Something which I often do when I'm teaching. I think of something else and I go off at a tangent, like in trigonometry terms, it's like going off at a right angle. I go off at a tangent and then come back to the point which I was trying to make previously. So I should really keep things on track rather than doing that. You see, I'm having a go at myself. To have a go at someone means to criticize. To get sidetracked, to get distracted from the main point or task. Yes, well, similar to going off at a tangent. That often happens when I'm doing workshops. I can get sidetracked, but so can students sometimes. There's a discussion and it starts going away from the main point. But can be fun. We're still learning English. Oh, and to sugarcoat things, here we're back to not calling things as they are, to saying something, making it sound more pleasant than it really is. And often you have to say things in a way that doesn't rock the boat. It doesn't cause disruption or conflict. It doesn't upset certain people. Don't rock the boat. If you rock the boat, someone might fall out. It's funny when you think of it, that when you say, don't rock the boat because someone might fall out of it, that's taking it literally. But if you rock the boat, someone might fall out, people might fall out with each other. So you don't rock the boat in discussions. Well, you might have to do sometimes to get things done. There you go. Well, that's it for this session. You have 25 advanced English expressions, collocations, phrasal verbs, fixed expressions, and idioms. You'll find them so useful in helping you towards fluency at advanced and proficiency level. So start using them, and why not take the plunge and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You'll find loads of other videos there, all designed to help you become fluent. You can't just rely on grammar. You have to start using these lexical chunks. Okay, that having been said, I hope you've enjoyed the session and I look forward to seeing you again soon. In the meantime, take care and happy learning.